What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of review for Bleach: The Thousand Year Blood War. This is episode 8, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
hmm so, uh, I guess you could say we're finally taking a break with all the nonstop action that we've seen for the past 7 episodes. Um,
Yeah,
Pretty much essentially when the entire season started, there was just like action left, right, but it's like now things have completely slowed down to the point where, um, we're finally getting some like I guess some character interactions with uh with certain characters, particularly like Rukia and Ichigo being on screen for the first time in 10 years.
yeah. Even though their conversation is pretty brief, it's just basically Rukia is still pretty severely injured from her fight with, I believe, the Quincy's name was Menines, which happened off screen, unfortunately. But yeah, she took a beating. It looks like, and her and Ichigo just have a brief interaction where Ichigo more or less says like, "Hey, Rukia, looks like you're looking like pretty bad," or something like that, and that's more or less the extent of it. But you do see Ichigo interacting with some of the other Shinigami, what was it, Shinji, and also some of the characters that we saw as far back as like the Soul Society arc. I forget the name, but that one guy in the fourth squad shows up briefly, and but he just kind of talks to Ichigo a little bit, and then he goes away.
Mhm.
But a lot of the episode is just kind of the Soul Society recovering from what just happened, and head captain Yamamoto's death.
Yeah, they're pretty much the entire Soul Society is just pretty much licking their wounds at this point.
Oh,
With
and
yeah,
and another important thing too that we kind of gets revealed, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people who I guess probably aren't manga readers were wondering this, but they were wondering like why Unohana and the fourth squad didn't come and help, because they're supposed to be like the medical or the relief squad basically, and they did not like come out and help while the invasion was happening. And Unohana reveals that was because the Yamamoto ordered them to stay in the barracks and not come out, no matter what happens.
I guess in a way Yamamoto knew this was going to happen in the first place.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just like I said, just the entire captain squad is just they're just licking their wounds after everything that's happened, and of course, Soifone really doesn't take it all too well after what happened. Uh, it's especially like what happened to Yamamoto, but of course, Shinsuke, like it's real, like he's survived after like I don't know how many times he got shot by that Quincy, but
It's
I'm
kind of
surprised
funny
he's
because
still alive.
it looks like he never even got shot. Like he looks totally fine. Like he doesn't even have any like visible wounds or anything like that I could see.
I mean, with the
Um,
exception of the eye patch that he's wearing now.
oh well,
But
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
yeah,
but
but but of course, we find out that Kenpachi and Byakuya are both alive, but are both in critical condition to the point where they're unable to perform their duties.
yeah,
And of
I
course,
was just real quick. I was kind of wondering how the anime was going to handle this, because um apparently like I don't know if this is just a rumor or if this is like there's confirmation this was the case, but people at least suspected in the manga that Kubo was going to kill off Byakuya at this point in the story, but because of fan backlash, he decided to let Byakuya live, basically. And I think for the anime, like I was kind of wondering if they were, if Kubo was going to go the direction this time where he would make have something change where Byakuya actually might die, but I guess he decided, because if you remember, like we didn't in the manga, they the Stern Ritter and some other characters say these lines that kind of imply that Byakuya died at that point where he got beaten by uh, Asnot. Uh, but apparently they ended up removing that in the anime, so the characters don't say that.
yeah.
Um, and of course we get confirmation in this episode he survived, so Byakuya is going to live.
Mhm.
Which I mean, I guess I I wish they Kubo would have went through with actually killing him, because it would have made things feel that much more impactful. But Byakuya is a fan favorite character, and I guess Kubo felt like the better decision was to just let him live. So
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Um, Well, another major development is Ichigo going over to meet with Mayuri to ask about what the state of his Zanpakuto is, and Mayuri tells him that because his Zanpakuto was destroyed in its Bankai state, it cannot be fixed, and it would require like Ichigo to I guess use the spiritual pressure to at least repair it, but because of its you know being damaged in its Bankai state, it's no longer possible. But before Ichigo can elaborate any further, Mayuri gets a call that captains of Squad Zero are arriving to meet with the other captains.
Yeah, and this is the first time I think we get. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think this is probably like the first time we get any reference to like Squad Zero, or we actually see Squad Zero. Because I don't know if they've. I mean, I don't remember, but I don't know if they've even been mentioned before until now.
They only been mentioned like in passing once, and
Okay.
I can't remember what arc it was, but Shinsui mentioned them before only once, and then they were never mentioned again. But yeah, this is the first time we actually get to see Squad Zero in the flesh.
And also we finally get to see Cone again after being absent for so long. But yeah, we see Cone apparently, like, I guess Cone had just been in the Soul Society. I don't even remember what happened to Cone the last time we saw him in the anime, honestly. I figured he was just back in Ichigo's house somewhere, but I guess he was in Soul Society the whole time, for some reason.
I didn't even know that at first. But apparently, I guess Mayuri, in a way, tinkered with Cone, and supposedly he's now being used as like a holographic projector, in which we get confirmation that Chad and Orihime are both fine. But of course, we do find out, well, just in the little tease that we do get to briefly see Grimmjow in this one scene.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was kind of funny because, when he heard Ichigo's name being mentioned, you hear him say something like, "Is that bastard Kurosaki?" Like, and he tries to come into the tent. But, Chad and Orihime try to stop him. But yeah, I mean, they're okay. And basically Urahara implies that they had reached some kind of a agreement with Grimmjow. We don't really know the details of that yet, but I guess they're working together.
Yeah, and we also find out.
Also, if you notice, they I don't know what this is about, but it was kind of funny, but I don't really get it. Like, if you notice in the background, like while Urahara is talking, like Orihime was like throwing salt, and Chad was like had some Moroccos or something. I don't know if they're like trying to stave off Grimmjow that way or something, but I don't know what that was about.
I don't even know why. It's weird. I mean, obviously Grimmjow can obviously power through these two quite easily, but for them to just, I don't know what the reason for that is, just to annoy him. But it's I don't know. It's probably for comedic purposes, but it's just a little bit odd that would somehow, I don't know, ward off Grimmjow in some way.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But this is also in the scene this is where we actually get to see Squad Zero, in the flesh, and not just, I guess as a passing reference.
Yeah. And but of course, like Soifon once again interjects, demanding why the hell, Squad Zero never even came in to help fight the Quincy's in the first place. And of course, they push back, saying like, their duty is to protect the Soul King in the royal palace. It's mostly the job of Gotei 13 to take care of the whole thing themselves. But of course, they can see, how ineffective Gotei was, and all that mayhem, and how after what we witnessed in the past 7 episodes.
Yeah, and of course this just further pisses off Soifon, but she realizes she really can't do much of anything, or well, she's kind of taken aback by how powerful they are, or how quickly I forget the guy's name, the one guy with the weird hair comes up behind him.
I think his name is Tenjiro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we find out that Rikyo, Renji, Byakuya, and Ichigo's what was it, Tensa Zangetsu are going to be transferred to the royal palace, and they mentioned that there's a possibility that they might try to repair Tensei Zangetsu. Along with
Well,
yeah.
they said that it actually that it can't be repaired, but that they could basically forge a sword that's similar to Tensei Zangetsu, because like Mayuri mentioned, the broken Bankai can't actually be repaired.
Yeah. So eventually, Ichigo does get taken, um, to the.
Also, we should mention too, like there is like a brief interaction with Tenjiro and Unohana, and I guess it's trying to apply that Tenjiro was one of the people that had maybe like, I guess taught Unohana like her healing abilities, I suppose. But that's about like most of what we get from that interaction.
Yeah. Supposedly,
Yeah.
that's I guess in a way he berates her for I guess not being able to do more to help Byakuya, Renji, and Rukia recover from their injuries, and so like he I guess tries. I don't know how, like
Well, we get
I
another
wouldn't.
similar interaction too with the bald guy, where he's basically saying like, you kind of also getting on Unohana a little bit because of them not really doing anything and letting certain captains and lieutenants die. But of course they don't know about, I guess, Yamamoto ordering them to Squad 4 to not to just stand down.
Yeah, and I I mean, yeah, it's still it's just um I don't know. It's just like it's a little bit weird that that Tenjiro just gets on Unohana's case like that. But of course, like he said, he doesn't know the real reason as to why. But yeah, so eventually we do get to see Ichigo being sent to the royal palace alongside the Squad Zero captains, but with the help of Kukaku Shiba, which it's a character we've never seen in the show since. I think someone on Twitter mentioned that she's never made an appearance since 2005.
Yeah, I don't know if we really like see much of her after Soul Society arc. Same with characters like Ganju and that one guy who was in Squad 4.
Yeah.
Um,
But we also get like a little tease or reveal that that I guess in a way that Ichigo's dad, was the captain of Squad 10.
mhm. Yeah,
So
he has some relation to the Shiba clan.
yeah, and which obviously makes Kukaku related to Ichigo in a way, but I don't. Obviously, Ichigo doesn't really know that.
I guess she's like a distant cousin of his or something, because I think, didn't you refer to Ishin as like an uncle or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, she
Yeah.
does. And then I think there was like what was it? I think it was the one of the lieutenants of Squad 12. I think I forgot his name. The one that worked with Rukia back then. I think it was
Oh, Kai and Shiba.
yeah, Kaien Shiva. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
so it's obvious. Like, I mean, he obviously looks exactly similar in appearance to Ichigo with his hairstyle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes more sense that Ichigo's related to the Shiba clan in some ways. But
Yeah.
what's really surprising is we get to see Ginjo and Tsukishima again, even after we find
And
out.
the butler.
Yeah, and the butler that worked for execution. This is.
I was kind of taken aback a little bit when I saw them. Like, I mean, I just assumed that after everything that Tsukishima and Genjo had done, they'd probably be like sent to hell or something. I didn't think they would go to the Soul Society, because like, I mean, people, I mean, I don't know. It's just. I mean, what's your take on that? Because I don't know how to feel about, like, because I mean, Genjo, he was a villain, but I guess now that they're trying to say he's a good guy, or maybe he's like changed his ways or something. But
if we remember correctly, by the end of the execution arc,
I mean, they did try to make us feel sympathetic for Genjo and Tsukishima, but I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's kind of hard to overlook some of the things they did, though. I mean, I guess maybe they're trying to say like they could still redeem themselves, I suppose, and that's maybe what they're gonna do here.
It's possible. I mean, I don't think I think some of their crimes are heinous. I think one
Yeah.
of Tsukushima's crimes is like manipulating the memories of Ichigo's friends for his own purposes. But I don't think they really went out of their way to, I don't know, to commit like heinous crimes, like murder people left and
I mean,
right.
yeah. I mean, I guess they didn't really. I guess when you really think about it, yeah, they didn't really. As far as we know, like, they didn't really kill anybody. They just kind of, were manipulating everybody in a way. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's debatable, but yeah, I was just kind of surprised to see them,
Yeah,
there.
not to mention that they're still wearing the same outfits they wore when they quote unquote died by the
Yeah.
end of that arc. Because yeah, and if we remember, like I said, I mentioned earlier, as I was saying, that Ichigo put in a request for Yamamoto to give back Ginjo's body to be buried in the world of the living.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess in a way that might have been the reason as to why Ginjo's in the Soul Society right now. But I don't know. I don't know how. I'm surprised that they're even back this soon. Like and of course in the similar appearances they were back in the execution arc.
One of the interesting things about this arc is going to be kind of the like former enemies becoming allies in a way, like with probably what they're gonna do with Grumjow, and I'm guessing what they might also do with Yenjo in a way, and some of the other characters from the Fullbring arc.
Let's not forget Aizen because
Oh, well, also
he's also
Aizen, yeah. I mean,
yeah he's also played a role in I guess in a way stopping the invasion of the Quincy's in the Soul Society.
yeah.
But yeah, soon after this, the episode kind of slows down a bit and kind of ends abruptly, at the end of this episode. So like, what happens? Like,
Well,
as soon as Ichigo and the others reach the royal palace, he immediately gets. They're immediately taken to this healing springs, and the way it works is like.
well, another thing we should kind of mention briefly too is they revealed that the reason they're able to access this place in the first place. I mean, it's this like floating. It kind of looks a little bit similar to the Serite, but it's I guess it's a lot bigger. It's like a floating city in the sky, and then there's a floating palace in the middle of it, where apparently the Soul King resides. And they say that the only people can only go there, or like ordinary Soul Reapers can only go there if they're allowed in there by the squad zero, or if they have the Oaken, which they say that their bones are created from. But if you remember, the Oaken is also something that Aizen was trying to create, so that I guess he could gain access to this area and potentially I guess take down the Soul King, and that was one of the things he was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, but of course, like I mentioned before, it immediately just transitions into Ichigo and the others being bathed in these healing springs. One side of it, I guess, I guess in a way extracts the impurities or the blood impurities from the wounded bodies, and then they have to toss them into this blood spring next to it, in which comedically Tenjiro just unceremoniously picks up Byakuya and just chucks him over to the other side like that.
Yeah. I mean, Ichigo even says, like, should you really do that? He's on the verge of death, and Tenjiro's just basically, don't worry about it.
There was one particular funny scene that was pulled out.
Yeah.
Actually, no. But I would say it's more of a deleted scene that was originally in the manga but not included in this scene. It's a manga panel in which Rukia is in the healing spring with Ichigo, but she's kind of floating like in a way where like they made a joke like her peach is being revealed.
Yeah. Like,
so,
there was that, and then there was other comedic scenes that were also cut out. I mean, there is still comedic scenes in this, in the anime, but it seems like they're definitely like cutting out a lot of the more comedic stuff, in the Thousand Year Blood War anime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just it just ends at that point.
Yeah, it ends after they reveal like the title card for Denjiro, and then we also get a post credit scene where I guess I forget the guy's name, but the bald guy, like he meets with the Soul King, I guess. And they show that the Soul King is woken up.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen from, uh, from this point going forward. I guess so. We have to see what Ichigo's gonna end up doing to, I guess, in a way, fix his Zanpakuto, even though like he can't fix his his current Bankai state. Um, I mean, there are some people on Twitter, fans on Twitter, that mentioned that um, that the Zanpakuto that Tensa Zangetsu is not really Ichigo's true Bankai form because because there was a scene in during one of the earlier arcs in which Byakuya was fighting Ichigo, saying that it can't be like an actual Bankai because it's too small to be a Bankai.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this could also have something to do with Ichigo's newfound. Well, him now realizing he's also part Quincy. So maybe that might have something to do with him having maybe a different weapon in his Bankai state, or a different Bankai state maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a pretty decent episode. I guess a nice episode to to slow the pace down a little bit after seeing all the nonstop action that we witnessed ever since the season started. Actually,
yeah, I definitely think it was good to have an episode that was like a little bit slower like this, because yeah, like ever since the season began, it's been going like just at almost like a breakneck pace in a way, with how quick like things have been moving.
yeah.
So I think it was definitely good to have an episode where things just slow down and we have more just dialogue between different characters, especially characters we haven't seen for years, just interacting with each other. And that's one of the things that was a little bit disappointing too, after kind of seeing what the differences were in the manga and with this episode, was that we actually got a little bit more dialogue in the manga with some of these characters, like Ichigo. Like there was there was actually dialogue between Ichigo and Kukaku, which I kind of would have liked to I wish they would have kept in the anime, but I guess they just didn't have time. But I kind of wish they would have kept that, just to have Ichigo, just maybe catching up with Kukaku a little bit, but yeah, that was just completely cut out.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the potential of, I guess, whatever Kubo is working on. I think he's planning on making an anime original storyline canon to the series, like involving like the original Gote 13, because as we mentioned last week, there would be no reason for Kubo to have included that illustration of the other captains, unless if he has big plans for them. I mean, there's still doing, even today. Like I think they released more artwork of the original Gote 13, including revealing the names of each captain during that time.
Yeah, I am wondering if Kubo might have some plans or is planning on doing something with that. I guess we'll just have to see. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Well, continuing about the original Gote 13, considering that this is going to be a 4-core series, imagine if just that one core is just mostly going to focus on the original Gote.
Yeah, well, people speculate that with all the stuff that is being cut and the things that are being added, people said there's like there could be an entire volume's worth of content that Kubo that could be added into the anime version of the Thousand Year Blood War. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what that is. Of course, we know that there has been additions with Uryu and all that. So I'm curious to see what else is going to be put in there.
Yeah. Overall good episode. It's a decent episode with proper character interactions, but I kind of do wish there was a little bit more in terms of like you mentioned with there was supposed to be an interaction with Ichigo and Kukaku, but maybe they'll come around to it in a much later time, but we'll have to see where that goes.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.